Hi, and welcome. I'm the Reverend Dr. Cheryl Gaver, Presbyterian minister of 3 congregations in Eastern Ontario. And thank you for joining us for this week's Puzzles in Faith. This week's question is, how much free will do we really have? And this is a huge topic. A lot of books have been written on it, and you're not going to get the whole answer from me today, that's for sure. But it's an important question for Christians, because it really is part of our Christian message, a core part. God created us with free will. We had the freedom to choose to obey or to choose to disobey. We chose to disobey, and all the problems in the world that we have are basically the result of our disobeying God. Jesus came into the world to save us, to sort of set things right. And that is the part of the Christian message. So the heart of it, or the beginning of it, is we had free choice. There's a question, though, about God. Because if God knows what we're going to do, then does that mean we really didn't have free choice to begin with? So it's like, I have a choice. I could do A or B. God knows I'm going to choose B. Well, did I really have that freedom to do A? How do I know? How do I know that he wasn't pushing me to do B? And that's a key question. So you stop and think about Judas Iscariot. Was he simply doing what God wanted by disobeying, by betraying Jesus? Or was he guilty of a sin? Did he have that free will to not betray Jesus? Or did Jesus, knowing that Judas was going to betray him, and Jesus being God, he knew that, did Jesus then treat Judas differently, sort of egg him on here, push him here, all the while shoving him to where he would make that decision to betray Jesus? And that's your sort of the nightmare, that are we being punished for something God made us do in the first place? Horrible, horrible thought. So what's the answer? How do we deal with this question of free choice? Well, one theory that's come up in quantum physics, and science fiction loves it, is that every time we have a decision, we have the world splits. And so we have parallel universes. So in one universe, we chose to obey, but in another universe, we chose to disobey. And that works great. Except you stop and think how many little choices you make during the day. Do I sleep in? Do I get up? Do I get dressed right now? Do I eat breakfast first? And you're going to have how many different universes just based on you in the first hour of getting up? So I think that quantum physics is somehow trying to deal with that, and may have. I'm not a physicist, so I don't know. But science fiction loves that whole idea of parallel universes. There's another way of looking at it, is imagine we're in a locked room and we've got a key, there's a door, there's a window, there's a vent. We have free choice, 3 things. We can leave the room, or 4 things. We can stay in the room, we can leave by the door, by the window, or through the vent. Which will we choose? Well, since we have a key, the easiest answer would be to choose to leave by the door. So now we've talked about having a 1 and 4 choice. And God knows which one we're going to pick. Well, that's statistical probabilities. But does that mean God is not necessarily all-knowing if he's working by probabilities? He's given us the key. Will we choose to use it? The right decision would be to use it and leave the room by the door, but maybe we don't know what the key's for, or we don't like it and we choose to leave by the window. So we're working again on the statistical probabilities. God knew someone would betray Jesus, but what would it have been? Did it have to be Judas? Could it have been Peter or Thomas or Philip or any of the other disciples? Was it all statistical probabilities? But again, that suggests God doesn't know the future. He's just working. He's a great mathematician. But in a way, that image of the locked room is really useful because we are in a locked room, human beings. We are trapped in finite human bodies within a world that operates in time and space. So for us, there's past, present, and future, and it's a line going from one to the other. That's how we think. That's how we're approaching this question of free will. But God isn't trapped in time and space. In fact, he created it. So God is sort of standing outside, looking down, and he can see the past, present, and future because it's his perspective. So he can see all the things that led us to making this decision we did, and he can see what decision we'll actually make. And then he can interrupt it or interact with it to try to change things from his point of view. He can break into that time and space and modify things to sort of go the way he wants it to go. So if you have a bit of trouble with that, I have just a picture to show you. So just give me a moment. So here's a picture, and you see there's a beautiful lake and trees. You can even see a cottage in the distance. And if I scroll over here, you'll see another tree, a close-up branch. And you might think this is a very nice, peaceful scene, and it is. But it's looking at it from our perspective, where we see sort of that lake and that little thing and a little hint of the trees. And gradually, as time moves on, or as we move our head, we get to see that whole tree. But God, being God, operates from a different perspective. He sees the whole picture, and he sees things that we miss, and he sees how things are going or where things are going. So that's a way of helping you understand how this free will works, and how God can know past, present, and future, even while we, who are operating within time and space, don't, and are free, therefore, to choose whichever path we want. So that's an introduction to the topic, and hope it helps you a little bit. Once again, I'm the Reverend Dr. Cheryl Gaver, and thank you for joining us for this week's Puzzles in Faith. Take care. Good day.